Hi there, it's Vicky, and today I wanted to do a little Ashtanga practice with you, and this is my first YouTube video. I just want to give people a little insight into what it's like coming to one of my classes. So we're going to sit down if you want to join me, taking some nice deep breaths, maybe in through your nose, sighing any tension or worries or negativity out through your mouth. As we really centre ourselves on the mat, feel your sit bones grounding into your mat, into the ground before you. You might want to let your hands rest gently on the tops of your thighs. Any seated position is fine. Sometimes it's not comfortable to sit with your cross legs, but that's totally cool. We're going to inhale, bringing our hands up, opening up our shoulders, and exhaling, bringing our hands down to heart center. I'll do that a few times with your own breath. Inhaling, interlace your fingers. Exhale, nice straight arms. Gently walking your right fingertips over to one side, sweeping your left arm up, opening up your side body. Inhaling over to your left hand side. Wherever your arm comes to, that's fine. A nice deep bend. Loosening out your neck a little bit. Inhaling and exhaling, focusing on your breath. Starting to open out your back a little bit. Arching forward. Maybe swapping the other way around. Dipping your chin down. Bringing some movement into your shoulders. We'll do a slight twist over to our left hand side. Hooking that right hand over your left knee. And swapping over to the other side. Left arm's going to come over to your right knee this time. Gentle twist, maybe looking out over the right shoulder. All of this is just warming us up. Before we move into our Ashtanga standing sequence, we'll come to a little cat-cow now. Doing some barrel rolls. Again, opening out across the shoulder, keeping your hands nice and stretched. Maybe you want to turn fingers towards your knees for an extra shoulder stretch. Waking up the backs of your wrists, your forearms, your biceps. Inhaling, dipping your chest down. Exhaling, arching up into your cat. We're stepping our left leg back now. Just bouncing into the ball of our foot, waking up that calf, inhaling, stretching, exhaling, knee to elbow. Starting to engage those core muscles. Maybe reaching back for that right foot, left foot even. Exhaling to stretch and lower down. Take a wee cat-cow here, inhaling and exhaling. Coming back to a neutral spine, stepping your right leg back. Bouncing into the fall of your foot. You can see that a little bit better this time. Inhaling, elbow to knee. Exhaling, stretching out as if someone's pulling on your foot and your toes. And coming back down, stretching out. Sitting back into a child's pose, reconnecting with your breath here. We're coming back into plank and pushing back into our first downward dog, keeping our fingers spread nice and wide. Inhaling, coming forward into plank. Exhaling, pushing back into downward dog. As always, option to take a little bit of stillness here as well. We're just doing that a few times in our own breath. Eventually lowering down. Go for a wide cobra here. Inhaling. Keeping our legs nice and wide as well, so we've not got any pinching in our lower back. Exhaling as we come down. Pushing up onto your knees, tucking your toes back into your downward dog. And we'll step forward, little steps, into our first forward fold. Exhaling, maybe holding on to opposite elbows, having a swing from side to side, bending into one knee. Always totally fine to have a bend in your knees here. Swapping over the cross of your elbows. I'm just loosening out my neck, giving it a little nod, giving it a little twist. Inhaling, reaching your arms up. And lowering to heart center. And we're going to get prepared for our first sun salutation. So we'll start with the sun salutation A sequence. We're moving our breath with our body. Inhaling, exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling into a halfway lift, bringing your arms maybe up to your shins or your knees. And exhaling, we'll come back to plank. Lowering to the ground, inhaling into our back bend. Exhaling, pushing back into our downward dog. I'm doing this quite quickly, but we can do it a lot slower. And once we're in our downward dog, taking 3 nice deep breaths in your own time. Coming forward when you're ready, inhaling into your halfway lift and exhaling again to fold. Inhaling, sweeping all the way up to standing mountain. Exhaling, hands to heart center. We'll go again. Inhale, exhale to dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, planting your hands, lowering down into your chaturanga, coming up into your back bend. I'm going upward dog this time. Tucking back into your downward dog with your exhale. I'm walking out that downward dog, bending into my knees, warming up my toes. And after your 3 breaths, we're going to come forward, maybe with a hop, maybe with a step. Inhale again into your halfway lift, nice flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, sweeping all the way up into your mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time, sun salutation A. Into B, sun salutation B, Utkatasana. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale again into your halfway lift, stepping back into your plank, and this time we're going to lower onto our knees. Inhale into your back bend, a baby cobra. Preparing to come up into your downward dog. You're lifting up your right leg here, really circling into your hip, just warming it up, preparing to come forward into your warrior one, your Virabhadrasana A. Bringing that right leg forward beside your right foot, making sure your hips are facing forward, preparing to come up. Warrior one. Adjust in there. If you've got another centimetre bend in that front leg, make sure your knee's not coming beyond your ankle. Exhaling, stepping back into plank, lowering down. Inhale into your back bend. Exhale back into your downward dog. We'll prepare again on our left hand side, so left leg this time, circling into that hip before we come forward into our warrior one on the left hand side. Left foot beside the left hand. Checking those hips. Yep, still facing forward, super. And when we're ready, exhaling down into a lunge, step back into plank. Inhale into your upward dog. Exhale, pushing back into your downward dog. And that's our sun salutation B, nearly completed. We'll take 3 nice deep breaths there. Stepping forward, inhaling into your halfway lift. Exhaling to fold. Inhale, sweeping all the way up. And exhaling, hands to heart center. Little adjust here, get ready. We're coming into our first Ashtanga standing pose now. Inhaling, we're bending forward. This is Padangustasana. You've got your peace fingers wrapped around your big toes. You're inhaling to straighten your back and exhaling with a bend in your knees, bringing your nose towards your knees. Inhaling, pulling on your arms, feeling that stretch up your armpits, and exhaling, trying to straighten into your legs a little bit more. Moving to our second posture, Padahastasana. So literally, hand to foot pose. If you can bring the balls of your feet all the way up to the crease of your wrist. Again, a beautiful stretch up your sides, up the insides of your armpits. We're staying for 3 nice deep breaths here. Unraveling slowly, coming up gently. We'll move into our Trikonasana, so our triangle pose now. You can jump into position or just step so that your feet are wide. Your right foot's going to be in line with the sides of your mat. And your back foot's turned in slightly 45 degrees like you might do for your warrior one. Stretching out your arms. You're going to reach for that right foot, maybe the instep, maybe the shin. It's not the best angle for Trikonasana here, I do apologise. We'll think about that next time. We'll swap over to our left hand side. Left foot in line with the sides of your mat, right foot turned in slightly. Lifting that right arm up towards the ceiling. If I was being critical, I'd say, Vicky, you need to tuck that left in a little bit more. Bending into that knee now for our Parshvanasana. We'll go right hand side. You can bring that right arm maybe to your knee. If you want to extend it Bring your right hand down. As long as you're keeping a nice open chest here, focusing on your breath as always. Turning over to our left hand side, bending into that left knee. Right arm up over the head. Reach for the floor if you want to extend. And inhale, coming up. Jumping feet together or stepping back together, we'll come to the top of our mat. Inhaling, exhaling to fold. Inhaling into your halfway lift. Stepping back into plank. We're just doing a little chaturanga, a little flow here. Keeping the heat, the prana energy we call it, in our body. We use that energy to banish any negativity, anything that's keeping us stuck. So we're inhaling again, exhaling to fold. Inhaling, sweeping all the way up, and exhaling, hands down to heart center. We're stepping into our wide angled forward fold now. So keeping your hips tucked in, shoulders rolled down. And inhale and come forward with a nice flat back. Pressing into the balls and the heels of your feet. Inhale, we'll take a wee twist. Right arm up. Left hand below your knee, your nose, Right hand down, left hand up. Move into a few variations of our wide angled forward fold. So peace fingers again, wrapping around your big toes. You're aiming to bring the crown of your head towards the mat. Go for a second variation now. Readjusting your feet. Hands on hips again. Crown of your head moving towards the mat. Final variation. Interlacing your hands. Stretch into your shoulders, make sure that neck is nice and loose. And then slowly heel toe your feet in to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, bending your knees to come all the way up. Step into the top of your mat. We're going to go into our standing balance. So you can keep holding onto your knee here. Maybe you want to reach for those big toes with your peace fingers. We'll turn out to the side. Working on your balance here, breathing in and out. And finally, pointing your leg forward. You can have a pointed toe or flex. Totally fine either way. We'll move on to our left hand side. Tucking the knee in maybe, reaching for those toes. Breathing in. Nice open chest. We'll bring our hip out to the side, opening it up now. I look very serious. But the most important thing to do is if you wobble, smile it out. Some days are good balance days, some days aren't. No judgment. Inhaling, exhaling. Coming into our figure of four here, or our half bound lotus. Crossing our ankle over our knee, coming into a squat. Reaching our hands to the floor, and if you've found that position, you can straighten into that standing leg as well. Come out gently with control, focusing on your breath, finding a wee spot on the ground to keep your balance. Swapping over to other side, ankle over knee. Straighten into that leg if you're ready. Coming up slowly, coming up gently. Resetting with an exhale. Inhale into your halfway lift, stepping back into your chaturanga, lowering. Inhale, upward dog or baby cobra, and exhale back into your downward dog. We'll take a minute in child's pose here. Just again, focusing on your breath. You can keep your arms outstretched, keeping them active. And push back up into your downward dog. Coming forward, halfway lift, exhale to fold. Coming into your Utkatasana now, we'll hold it. So this is our chair pose. Keep your tailbone tucked in, arms nice and straight. Folding forward. We're just about the end of our standing sequence now. We're stepping back to plank. Moving forward into our warrior one. Right leg forward. This time I'm clasping my fingers. Adding a very gentle back bend. Swapping over to the left hand side. Warrior one on the left hand side. If you want to keep your arms wide as well, still really, really great. It's just a little extra back bend with your fingers clasped. Moving into warrior two. The final poses of our standing sequence for the Ashtanga series, the Ashtanga primary series. And finally, warrior two on our right hand side, bending into that right leg. Check your alignment. Lunge, stepping back into downward dog. Oh, there's a treat for you. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to sweep and exhale, hands to heart center. Coming back to the top of your mat. We'll do one. Last little sit down. Coming into our Paschimottanasana. That's the start of our seated asanas for the Ashtanga series, but might do that as a separate little video. I'm in Dandasana now, our seated staff pose. Coming forward, looking towards our toes, making sure we're not arching too much into that upper back. We'll come into our Parsvakonasana. Lifting our hips, exhaling down nice and slowly, unwinding into our forward fold. Rolling slowly down, taking your Shavasana now. Feel free to leave the video on for a little bit longer and have a full few minutes of Shavasana, especially if you're as lucky as I am and you're getting to practice outside today. So thank you so much for joining me. I'd love to see you on the mat one day. Please get in touch or leave a comment if you've got any questions, queries. And I'll speak to you all soon.